All right, so if anyone else jumps in, then we'll make the modifications. But again, this is a more of a balance and backside workout, so it's going to focus a little bit more on the posterior chain. 6 exercises where the first 3 are going to be standing, and actually the third is going to be standing and working our way to the floor. And then we'll do the next 3 exercises on the floor. So the first exercise, we're going to keep your upper body nice and stable. We're going to pick the leg up, standing really stable on the single leg. We're going to rotate your lower body across and hold. And then we're going to switch and do the other side. I got someone else coming in. And then from there, we're going to go standing hip flexion. So standing up nice and tall, we're just going to keep the leg straight, and you're going to lift the leg up, holding. So this is a balance exercise. So again, with both of them, if you want, you can be close to a counter, close to a wall. You can use the back of a chair. And there we're going to do kind of a slow motion burpee where we're going to hinge at the hips, pushing back, keeping the knees relatively straight. Then we're going to walk the hands out and then walk back. And we're going to do this one for the entire time. Reach those hands up, but we're also not trying to go fast. Hinge at the hips, hips back, hands to the floor, bend the knees, walk the hands out, and then walking back. We'll add a push-up, optional, in the second and third round. From there, we'll stay on the ground, and we're going to do kind of this tabletop position. You're going to go back into what I call that modified child's pose, where I'm not really pushing a lot of my weight into my tops of my feet, which force that. I'm going to just sit here, and then what you're going to do is just, if I'm at this tabletop, just back just a little bit to open up the shoulder joint, and then we're going to lift one arm up, thumb towards the ceiling, and we're going to hold that for 30 seconds. So thumb is going towards the ceiling, elbow is straight. All right, so if I'm here, it's just a lot more restrictive on that shoulder. From there, what we're going to do is we're going to lie on your back. We're going to keep your arm off the ground as opposed to here. And we're going to let the hand rotate back and then bring the fingertips pointing towards the ceiling. So the hand goes back. We're going to do repetitions for the 30 seconds. So let the hand go back and then rotate up to the fingertips pointing to the ceiling, and then slowly control. And then we're going to end with the hip bridge. And here we're going to hold it for 30, squeezing, and then we'll take our breaks. Any questions with those exercises? All right.
Sounds great.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so again, this first one, just standing, keeping your upper body nice and stable. Bring that leg up, get balance, and then you're just taking that lower body, just a small rotation. I'm not trying to get that leg all the way across. It's almost like my knee just gets to the edge of my other thigh. You know, trying to really keep the upper body stable, not letting the shoulders go with it. We're trying to carry that separation of the lower body and the upper body. Holding it for that 30 seconds. You can really feel the leg you're standing on, that foot moving, and we're going to rotate out of it. Shake it out a little bit. We're going to do the other side. You're going to lift the leg up, really balancing, and then rotate the lower body across, keeping the shoulders nice and straight. So I like to kind of keep my elbows bent 90, just to keep my awareness of my rib cage and what my upper body is trying to do. Trying to spread those toes out. Grip into that floor, taking a break if you need to. And again, you can have your hand on the back of a chair, along the wall, holding, taking breaks as you need, tapping back down. Go ahead and come out of that. We're going to transition to the next exercise, another balance exercise. We're going to keep the knee straight, toes and knee pointing up. We're going to balance on the single leg. We're just lifting the leg up and hold it. Really emphasizing this knee extension. And then you're almost thinking with that leg you're standing on, almost pushing back behind you, pushing through the foot, through the floor, trying to get the top leg, the front leg that's elevated to continue to lift. Being nice and tall from the crown of your head to the bottom of the foot, trying to get as much distance. Allowing your breath to nice flow in and out. Not trying to tighten and hold tension. Walk it out. We're going to switch sides. Nice slow movement. The slower, the better. Again, really feeling that foot that you're standing into. Think about the leg you're standing on. You're pushing it back. The leg you're standing or elevating. Keeping that knee straight, trying to get it up towards the ceiling. Keeping your spine nice and tall, chest up. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do our slow motion burpee. So we start with our hands up. We're going to hinge the hips back. And then we're going to bring our hands to the floor so that it's all right to let those knees bend. And then we're going to walk the hands out. We're going to hold here, this plank position. And then we're going to walk back, hinge at the hips, flatten your back, stand up tall, reach the fingers to the ceiling. And then again, hips back, bend the knees so your hands can reach the floor. We're going to walk the hands out, hold the plank position. Walk them back. So this one we're going to go continuously. Reach those hands to the ceiling, hips back, bend the knees so the hands can reach. Walking out, hold the plank, walk them back, flat back, reach up. Okay, we're going to go hinge the hips, hands to the floor, walk it out. Flatten back, up nice and tall. And so you can see that those rounds, I was keeping my back straight as I elevated. One of the rounds, we're gonna roll the spine up. So just to help you get some differentiation between the body. So we're actually gonna stay down on the ground. We're gonna go to this modified child's pose. We're gonna go thumb up, elbow extended, reaching towards the ceiling. Keeping that same side chest down. It wants to rotate up. Keep that chin down. Try not to let that head elevate. Scan through the body. Breathe. We're holding the position, but don't hold your breath. We're going to switch hands. Thumb out. And so my hand is a little bit out to the side. The arm that is elevated, kind of like I'm making a V if I had both arms up. Keep that elbow straight, thumb up. Breathe into it. Squeeze that back area of the shoulder blade and relax out of it. All right, now we're gonna lie face up for these next two. So when you have your elbow out to the side and the elbow and arm are resting, you can elevate just a little bit to it lines with your shoulder. And then we're gonna let that hand fall back, slowing the descent, and then bring it back up. And then back. Control right here, and then forward. It's just a small motion inside of that shoulder joint. Scanning the body. Do you have any pain or discomfort? Any hitches in this motion? You can keep your elbow down a little bit lower. And that will change the amount of motion. So it just changes where it gets tight. So this side, I'm going to bring my elbow pretty much even with the shoulder. Lift that arm up off the floor. Slowly let that hand go back. And then bring the fingertips back up towards the ceiling. And then back out. And I'm trying to keep that arm at that same distance off the floor the entire time, which this left side requires a little bit more control. I can tell it's not as easy. My arm and elbow want to move around. And I'm going to bring my elbow just below the shoulder for these last couple. All right, now we've got our hip bridge. So here, we've got our feet side by side, a little bit of about hip width distance, so the legs are separated, pushing our hands into the floor, trying to shove as much of the back of your shoulder blades, arms and hands into the floor, lift those hips up high, push through your heels. Breathe into it and then relax. Straighten those legs out and get a nice little stretch. Here we go. Back up another 30. If you want, you can pick your toes up. That will alleviate some of the strain out of the hamstrings. If you push the balls of your feet into the floor, that's going to encourage a little bit more knee flexion. So again, you can lift the toes up off the floor or push them into the floor, and they'll change the sensations. All right, here we go. Round 2, we're going to go back to standing. All right, here we go. Round 2. So we're starting off with that lower body rotation, keeping the upper body nice and stable. Just nice, slow, controlled. Again, I'm not trying to rotate as far as I can, just enough that I know if like this is my neutral, I'm going across and holding. Scanning the body, giving yourself a chance to check in what areas of your body are working. What areas are you aware of? Are you holding tension? Are there areas of the body that feel more sensitive? Are you getting cramping or nervy pain? Go and relax out of it. We'll switch sides. And that's what we're trying to do, is build a story of what your body is explaining to you. You're kind of every time that you do an exercise or you do movements, you're having a conversation with your body. So again, it's about taking that lower body across, just rotating, keeping your shoulders nice and stable. Torso is facing forward. Okay, walk it out, shake it out. We're going to go to the single leg hip flexion. So this is, again, another balance exercise. We're going to stand, keeping your leg that you're balancing on, really try to dig that foot into the floor, and you're going to bring the other leg forward. And so the legs are going in opposite directions. As the leg is going up and in front of me and towards the ceiling, I'm thinking about my other leg going behind me. Keeping my spine nice and straight, trying to be nice and tall through my spine, through my foot. Working to create that separation, not allowing your upper body to move towards the leg going up or the leg going back. So no leaning back, no leaning forward. Okay, relax, shake it out. We'll switch sides. I like to just kind of get to where I'm, where feet are pretty much balancing. As you step on one leg, you're kind of going to go to that side of the leg a little bit. And again, lifting the front leg up, back leg is going down and behind. Breathing into it. Try to stay steady. If you need to, tap down, taking breaks as you need. The 30 seconds are a suggestion. They're not a requirement. Staying nice and tall through the body. There you go. Relax, shake it out. We have our slow motion burpee that we're going to end on the floor. So again, we're going to start with the hands up. We're going to then hinge at the hips, pushing back. As you get here, my hands don't reach, so in order to reach, I bend my knees. I'm going to walk my hands out. Now this time you can either maintain the plank position or add a push-up. If you need to, you can come down to the knees for that push-up. And then we're just going to walk back. You're going to go up to flat back, and then you're going to continue to go up, reach the fingertips, then hinge at the hips. Hands down, bend the knees, walk out. Again, you can maintain that plank. You can do knees, push up. We're going to walk back. We're going to go to flat back, reach those hands up, and then hinge at the hips. Then get those hands to the floor by bending through the knees. Walk the hands out. Push up if you want, or just maintain that plank. Go to flat back, and then reach up. Hinge at the hips. We're going to walk out to maintain the plank or do a push-up. And then we're going to just stay here for the shoulder flexion exercise in this modified child's pose. So this is where we're gonna be here in the tabletop. We're gonna allow the hips to go back just a little bit. I'm not completely resting on the back of my legs. And then we're doing thumb up towards the ceiling, elbows stay straight. So I'm not directly over the top of my hands are out in front of me. Elbow straight, thumb up towards the ceiling. Really feeling a stretch through this front side of the chest. Breathing nice, feeling it, and relax. It started getting tingling, so I might have, if I had to go any longer, I might have brought my hand down a little bit. Now we'll do the other side. So that's what this allows you to start doing, is finding out how is your body responding, how do sensations change when you ask your body to go into these positions. Just thumb up towards the ceiling, elbows straight. Opening up the front part of your chest, squeezing your posterior, the shoulder blade muscles. And relax. All right, we're gonna flip over. So now we're gonna do our shoulder rotation. So here, this time I'm gonna do it, start with my elbow below my shoulder. This is even with my shoulder. I'm gonna start with it just below. And so with this, I get less motion on the down. I don't get quite parallel to the floor. And now I'm going to bring it up even. And so when it's even on this side, it's easier for me to go back just a little bit further. Okay, we'll switch sides. Again, here's even. I'm going to bring it just below. Slowly control the way down. And then go even. And this side requires a lot more work just to keep that arm up off the ground. All right, so now we have our last exercise, or round 2, moving back into the hip bridge. So we're gonna keep your feet flat, or you could just really, even bring your toes up and just pushing through the heels. I'm gonna try to keep my heels flat, or my feet flat. So we're just up and holding. Squeeze these cheeks together, squeeze the glutes. You're thinking about trying to shove through, trying to get the tops of your thighs, especially this area, kind of right across this little hip line, that crease where you sit. You're trying to get that area to lengthen and push up towards the ceiling. Seeing how this round, if it does feel different, go ahead and take a break. Are these exercises feeling different from this first round into doing it the second time? So now we're squeezing. Pushing those hands down, shoulders back down. Breathing, allowing your breath to flow. Nice and smooth inhale and exhale. We're holding the position, not holding your breath. All right, here we go. Final round. We're doing our standing lower body rotation. So hands are up, chest is staying nice and stable. We're rotating that foot across, the lower body across. It's a balance exercise, so you're really working the leg you're standing on. Maintaining this position as if you're a statue. So once you get into this position, you want as little movement as possible, but we know that the foot is moving, because we always have movement going on in our body. Okay, walk it out, we'll switch sides. But you want to maintain, your head and shoulders, limit that movement. Switch sides, rotate across. And so you can almost kind of internally think about rotating your upper body the opposite direction and almost just as a way of creating a little bit more tension through your core, but don't physically move to rotate. It'll just create a stronger core contraction. Okay, walk it out, shake it out. Now we're doing our straight leg, the split. So I'm going to do a different angle this time. So here I'm standing up nice and tall, or what feels nice and tall. So what's nice about mirrors and video, gives you that visual feedback. So here I'm just keeping my knee straight and I'm lifting it up in front. And then I'm thinking about taking the leg that I'm standing on down into the floor and behind me. So they're going in opposite directions. And I'm trying to keep them in the same line that they are in my pelvis. So I'm trying not to let that foot go across the body towards the other leg or even out to the side. Being nice and tall from the crown of your head to the foot that you're standing on. Relax, shake it out. We'll switch sides. So again, these are going in opposite directions. This side just feels a lot tighter. A lot more sensation on the backside of that leg. If you pull your toes up towards your head, that will make the posterior side a lot harder, or a lot tighter. If you point the toes, that will loosen up that back part of the leg. Breathe, okay. All right, now we're going into our slow-mo burpee. So again, we're gonna start, this time I'm gonna roll up through the spine. So I'm gonna hinge still at the hips. We're gonna bring your hands to the floor. We're gonna bend the knees to walk out. Again, you have your option of doing your push-up if you want. You can drop to the knees and do the push-up. You can just hold the plank. Then we're gonna walk back. We're gonna go, this time we're gonna roll all the way up. So this time rolling through the spine, reach. Okay, but we're still gonna hinge, drop. So we're going down the same, we're just rolling up differently. So again, you can hold the plank, you can do a push-up. We're gonna walk it back, and we're rolling up, kind of one vertebrae at a time. And then hips back, bend the knees, roll, walk it out. Got our push-up, or you can just hold the plank. Choose your own adventure on this one. So again, rolling through the spine. Reach those hands up. We have time for one more. We're gonna push those hips back, bring those hands down. We're gonna walk out. We're gonna hold this position, the plank, nice and firm. And then we're gonna drop down to this tabletop. We're gonna go back just a little bit. Again, not all the way. This time, last time I went to the tops of my feet. This time I'm gonna keep my toes extended so the bottoms of my toes are still touching the floor. And we're just lifting the arm up, slightly out to the side, thumb up towards the ceiling. And so it's a nice stabilization for the arm that you're still bracing through. It's helping that shoulder get a lot more stability. So be aware of that hand going into the floor. Okay, we're gonna switch arms, switch sides. So take that hand slightly out to the side, thumb up towards the ceiling. Breathe into it. Try to breathe into any areas that might be getting tight or cramping. And for me, like, I'm very aware of what's going on in my toes right now because I chose a different foot position and it was okay. And as the time has gone past, further into the exercise, it's gotten more challenging. And relax. All right, 2 exercises remain. So we're gonna lay face up on our backs. We're gonna go back to the shoulder motion. So again, I'm gonna return back to the elbow being aligned with the shoulder. And we're gonna let the hand fall back, trying to keep the same distance of the arm off the floor. Then fingers towards the ceiling. And right back up. We're gonna do one more. And then I'm just gonna bring the elbow down a little bit. And so like in this position, it's a lot more challenging as I get down here. And that's what we're trying to do, is use movement to find out what areas of your body, you know, start to give you different sensations or different experiences. So this time, elbow even with the shoulder, hand back with control, fingertips back towards the ceiling. And here you're letting this stuff in the front. You can feel it kind of lengthen and stretch. And then as you bring those fingertips back, you can feel that stuff is what's tightening to bring it up. All right, final exercise, round 3. Final exercise of the day. So we got our hip bridge. Again, trying to shove your shoulders and hands, everything into the floor, feet into the floor. And you're going to press through, lifting your hips, squeezing your glutes. Keep that chin extended. You know, you can't even, if you do this chin flexing, that's going to give you a little bit greater stretch on the back. I'm choosing to keep my chin a little extended. It's kind of personal preference. Just realize that if you do keep your head here, that pushes you into flexion. If you allow, when you lift, and allow that chin and head to roll with it, it'll keep you into that more neutral position. Is what you're doing when you lift, you're shoving, go ahead and lower, you're shoving your body towards your head that is fixed in the floor. So, all right, here we go once again. So as you lift, you can let that head rock back, or if you keep it in place, it just forces you into occipital flexion. Keeping space in your jaw, not clenching your teeth. Shove those arms down. Trying to create greater pressure at the back of the shoulders. Shoving through your feet, squeezing the glutes, and relax. All right. Nice job.